And now we're talking about minions. Narrated by Jesse Levine. Good evening, everyone. This is the person who's not going to clear the wave, Jess, and let's just say I've been having a lot of fun playing Deadlock. If you've paid attention to my channel, like the last week, I have like 5 days straight of streaming Deadlock. I have been enjoying Deadlock to a very insane degree. I have been Deadlock's third most biggest fan since... I don't know people who play this game. But I know Fishnet plays this game, and if anyone knows who Fishnet is... No, you don't. No one knows who Fishnet is but me. Sorry for yelling at you there. But the point being is, I have enjoyed Deadlock a lot, and have I done some really stupid plays, and done some really stupid things, and been inoptimal and stuff and whatnot, and blah, blah, blah? No, of course not. I always play the best. Why, you think I would do something stupid in a video game? That's for people who aren't me. Sorry. I'm out here doing the sickest plays, and the only reason why they went wrong was because the enemy team hacksorted into the game to make me lose. Only reason why it would ever happen. But I'm not here to talk about my flawless Deadlock performance. I'm here to talk about something else entirely, something regarding the whole MOBA genre as a whole. And you know, I think about this all the time. Minions. Minions, minions, minions. Not the things that your mom sends off of Facebook, or your grandma, or even, I don't know if granddad actually would send minion memes. I would have to research that one. But I'm talking the little goobers who are gonna blast you with their blasty beams and shoot you when you look at them funny. Or when it's like you walk away, they're like, huh, I wonder who was there. I never knew that person before in my life. And then you reappear and then you're like, oh, I always knew you were there. They're like the Oblivion NPC when they catch you stealing and then you put a bucket over their head in Skyrim and they're like, what is happening here? I am so confused. Those little goobers, they're like the core mechanic of MOBA is that you walk behind minions, you blow up John Tower, and then you're like, woohoo, and kumbaya. Unless you're extremely fed, then you don't need them at that point. But at that point, it's like been like, I don't know, like 8 hours and like 60 minutes. And at that point, you might as well have gotten like ordered in like a DoorDash at that point, sat down, had like a big martini lunch with your family. And then, you know, go on a 3-hour drive, say hi to the family out in... who are we kidding? We're not driving out to visit family. 3 hours takes away from gaming time. Of course, we're not visiting them. Sorry, we're doing a FaceTime. Without minions, you would not have your, well, what is it? Your classic MOBA genre. You know, the minions, they walk up, they're like, I am cannon fodder, and that's all they are. They give you money as well. They just so happen to also give you financial incentives as to shoot them. And, you know, for some reason, they have a lot of money on them. I don't know, and for some reason the bigger ones have more money on them. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, like, they don't even have wallets. Where would they even store the money inside of them? Like, that's the question. Where does the money come from? Huh? Where does the money come from? But that's actually an episode for a different time. Where does the money that the minions get come from? And probably... well, obviously tax evasion, but then it's like, oh, how are they working these jobs if they just go instantly to die? So I'm like, of course they're going to replace new... Okay, I'm talking about a different episode entirely here. I need to stop getting off topic here. I have to focus on the importance of the minions here. More so their overall purpose inside of MOBAs and also Deadlock, which... they have done something very interesting. In this game, you can actually start to steal the money from other players. So if they're shooting your minions, a little bubble will pop up and you'll be like, oh, wow, what a lovely bubble. I wonder what that does. It pops and then boom, you get some cash off of it. Now, what you can do is you can shoot it to secure it and the enemy team can shoot it to secure it for themselves. So really, you get part of the money for shooting the minion and then you got to shoot the bubble to then secure all of that money, or the enemy team could steal it from you so that they could get more money, get ahead of you, and get an item. Now, this is actually something very interesting to be done with minions. You know, I now have an incentive to shoot the minions because it means I can make the enemy team's day worse, because now I can stop them from scaling as hard by stealing from them. You have given me selfish incentive to shoot the minions. Which I gotta commend. I gotta say, that is honestly an amazing change for minions, because honestly, no one likes shooting minions. No one likes shooting minions. Like, this adds the joy back into my heart to making people's days worse in MOBAs. And isn't that what the MOBA genre is all about? Making people's days worse and making my day better by making someone else's day worse? The answer is yes. I mean, that's like the reason why people play League of Legends, stuff like that. It's because they want someone else's day to become worse so that they can feel better, you know? Like, it's the classic, like, I don't know the philosophical meanings behind it, but there's something philosophical about it, and a therapist might say, like, something that's like, Tony Soprano or something, blah, 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 blah. Point being is I enjoy stealing. I enjoy thievery. I enjoy taking things that belong to others and giving them to myself. And most importantly, becoming wealthier off of that fact. Now, if I were actually really good at hitting all of the soul bubbles, then I would be in a very, very good spot in that game, but I kind of suck at it. My timing's always off. I play characters with sometimes low ammo, and I'm like, I'm not good enough to do this. I'm too bad. Now, what I want you to think about is, what did I not mention when I was talking about this? I'll give you a couple seconds to really think it through, really get through your noggin what I was talking about there. Don't just let my onward yapping just like get to you real fast. Just sit hard and think for a moment. All right, time's up, you're done. I never said shooting the minion was fun. I said shooting the thing that pops out of the minion is fun. And that leaves us with the hidden feelings of the real minions, which, I still don't like shooting minions. I don't think I will ever like shooting minions. I don't think you can ever make me like shooting minions in a MOBA. There is simply a means to the end to make someone else's day worse. And that's simply just how it is. It's just business. I can work with that. I can understand that. I don't like you. You run into my gun. And, we all say, well, you don't say anything because they're going to be blasted with my gun or my fist or whatever random object that just happens to be the main weapon. But, it's a necessary evil. I have to shoot the minions to win the game, And at least I still get to shoot the enemy team while ignoring to shoot the minions. But when I'm ignoring the minions, suddenly they do this thing called winning the game for the enemy team here. I can't ignore the minions. And, my team tends to have a similar opinion, right? Where, someone else might get the minions. You know what? Someone else might end up getting the minions, so I can do the fun part of the game, which is getting all the gambling machines. I know what you are, Rem. I will hunt you down and eat your soul. But if you're on my team, do it to the enemy's gambling machines. Leave our gambling machines alone. You've eaten enough. How much can a little baby have of spaghetti? How much spaghetti can you stuff inside you? It's at least 8 servings of spaghetti. I know that from how many big gambling machines they've eaten over the years. Some folks will graciously push up the minion wave. And, some of them will graciously shoot them so that I don't have to. So I can do the fun part of the game while they have to do the labor-intensive part of this game. And, some teams that you get, they don't always want to shoot the minions. Maybe what they want to do is do everything but shoot the minions. But then problems start to occur. Soon, minions are upon your tower, and suddenly bad things are happening. They're doing damage to you, and now suddenly the enemy team is going to have advantage when either they end up breaking your tower walker thingy-majig, or what they end up doing is maybe the minions take it out. They'd even have to work a lickety-split to get that. The minions got it themselves, and the minions, they don't know anything. They don't hold down 9 to 5s. They don't do anything productive. All they do is just drool at you, even though they're like candles or whatever weird things, and then they just whack things. That's all they do. They're simple-minded creatures. Mechanisms of war only sent in to die so that the real fighters can take over the game. Am I trying to preach to my team to go and try to shoot the minions? No. I think trying to tell people to go shoot minions is not really hitting the core problem here, which is the minions themselves posing a problem. So what I've learned from my time playing both sorry, I can't really say the name of it, and Deadlock is that, there is a great selfishness that exists in MOBAs, or just in multiplayer games in general. I will do what I need to do to be very, very selfish. Now, you gain money from blowing up the minions, but is that incentive enough? I don't think so. While yes, I do get money, Yeah. I get more money from beating up the enemy team. So how do we incentivize people to shoot the minions? So I know exactly how to fix it. And I think the solution is just unbelievably simple. I feel like it's so obvious. It's been staring in front of you every Deadlock game because it's the thing that everyone tries to prioritize. I think you're seeing what I'm going for here. What does every Deadlock player want besides just like beating up the enemy players? Come on, this one's a gimme here. This one's a gimme here. You know the answer. I was like, I can feel that you know the answer. You got to tell me the answer here. I can feel it transferring from your noggin to mine. Make the minions a form of gambling. Do I even have to explain it to you? That's genius. That's unbelievably genius. Play off of selfish desires, get selfish rewards. Exactly. You see exactly what I'm doing here. You know what? Suddenly, Rem players aren't just only going to be playing in their jungle. They're going to be playing the wave. They'll actually go for the wave if they're gambling like minions. Now, how exactly would a gambling minion work without really breaking the balance of the game? You know, I think it's actually quite simple. You don't need a lot of gambling minions. You just need one. You just need a singular gambling minion. And it is quite simple what it is. You know, like the little jars and stuff that can actually give you like small stat boosts? You know, just have it be one of those. And suddenly everyone wants the gambling minion. Suddenly there's a desire to shoot the minions now because you get a selfish reward out of it. Now, thinking about it, how frequently would these spawn? Don't have it be too frequently, but say maybe a lane is being pushed by no one and minions are just sitting there shooting there. Maybe send in a little gambling minion. Suddenly, everyone wants that little gambling minion, and suddenly everyone's feasting upon the minions like they're fine dining, when really it's just like cookout at like, like a regular, like a 4 p.m. like time, you know? It's almost like a fool's gold kind of thing, where really you're playing off of people's desire to get a confirmed stat boost, which I think people will jump at the sight of, you know. I am someone who loves stat boosts. That's why I love fighting over gambling machines and then hitting all of the idol blocks things, not Buddha statues. Then suddenly, everyone will be shooting the minions, and then suddenly the minions won't be able to just be mindless like slaves hitting towers and stuff like that. Suddenly, all of the waves will be at equilibrium. And while everyone fights over the gambling minion, I just so happen to get the gambling machine all to myself. Of course you didn't think I had a selfish interest in this. I'm a Deadlock player. Of course I'm selfish. And while everyone's distracted with the gambling minion, everyone will leave the precious gambling machine all to myself. And like that, suddenly, Rem isn't stealing all the gambling machines. It will be me. I will have every gambling machine in the game, and they will never be able to stop me. And now, you might be thinking the caveat to this plan is that, wouldn't players be thinking the exact same as you are?